Welcome back to another episode of Front Row Cinema, a movie podcast for movie lovers by movie lovers. I am your host, TJ Trimboli, and with me, as always, my co-host, I got Mr. Peanut Butter Cups in the house tonight, Mr. James O'Reilly.
Wow, that might be the most accurate one yet. I do love peanut butter cups.
I mean, who doesn't love peanut butter cups? You'd have to be a crazy person not to enjoy those. And each week, we take a look at my 1,000 movies I've seen in theaters, and we see how well it's aged, along with the hype surrounding the film, its box office analysis, and legacy in the film industry. So if you enjoy this kind of content, hit that sub button on YouTube, leave that 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's how you help the channel grow. Jim, what are we watching tonight?
50 First Dates.
That's right, the 2003, the 2004. I'm so used to
Right.
being in
We're
the
now in
land of '03.
2003.
That's right. We're now in the
What a
land of
year it was.
2000. Yeah, what a wild year that was. But we're putting it in the rearview mirror. We're in 2004 with this lovely rom-com, directed by Peter Siegel, written by George Wing, and starring Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore, and Sean Astin. Wow, it's a twofer. 2 weeks in a row, we got Sean Astin up on deck. This man, after just being put through like 18 months of filming in New Zealand, was like, I need something simple after that. And Adam Sandler comes along. Boy, do I got something for you, buddy.
I don't know
Shows up
about
in,
you, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be playing the should Sean Astin have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor game again.
again. Well, I would definitely be there with you for it. But we got our DVD cover here. We're busting it out. We got our log line on the back, and it reads Henry Roth lives an enviable life in a Hawaiian paradise, spending every night with a beautiful tourist in search of an island fling. It's a sweet life with no strings attached until he meets Lucy. He and Lucy hit it off from the get go, but the next day she acts like she doesn't know him. Has his karma come around to kick him in the butt or what? Actually, Lucy has short term memory loss, so every night all memory of her day is erased. But a man in love will go to any lengths to win over the girl of his dreams. And if that means having to find imaginative ways of doing it over and over again every day, then Henry's up for the challenge. A lot
First
of
of all, a lot of
lot of
talking
lot of
during
talking in the routine. Way more than we needed.
this. Yeah. Second of all, I think that this really hit on what's so funny to me about rom-coms, where like they all seem to be about how far a man in love will go to catch the woman of his dreams. And like all of them are like, yeah, it's actually pretty dark when you think about it.
We go
But
pretty far because they're fucking insane.
yeah, but at the same time, they're all like, but isn't that kind of funny though? Like,
They're like, but but isn't it sweet? Like how far he'd go to make her fall in love with him?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. And if
it's
he
like,
took a
I don't
knife to her in
know.
the middle of the night, it'd be a news story. But to each their own.
It does. Maybe I've just seen too many true crime movies, but I'm like, the end of this is that she just doesn't remember anything every day, and she has no family left, and it's just her and Adam Sandler, and I don't think that's so good.
Yeah, right. Like he took her away from her sweet island life with her dad and brother to live a life on a boat in the in the middle of like the Arctic Ocean.
Yeah, like that's a horror movie, dude. If you if you lose your memory every day and you wake up on a boat with a guy who claims to be your husband, and that's a horror movie.
You're being forced to watch a video every day that contextualizes what you've missed the last like
Right.
3 years.
Right. A video heavily curated by the guy who claims to be your husband, by the way.
Oh my god. Yeah, yeah. So, but hey, this is a rom com. Maybe this is a sappy romance.
Yeah.
We're here for the love. Did you see this movie in theaters?
I think I did, yeah.
Oh, wow! Look at you. I would have thought maybe this would have been a home video watch for you.
No, this would have been a theater one because Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison were big, big movies in my house. Adam Sandler was still in very good standing around my
Yeah,
way in
he hasn't
2004.
he hasn't really fallen off the deep end for us. I feel like it's once you get into the 2010s and he really makes that deal with Netflix that I'm like I'm done with these movies. I won't do it.
Yeah,
I won't do it.
I think it probably happens before that. Grown Ups feels like
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
we're already off the cliff by the time Grown Ups happens.
Yeah, that's fair. Very fair, very fair. I went and saw this in theaters. I don't remember what her name was. It was a girl we went to school with. and I'm
Okay.
blanking on her name right now. Not that it's important, because not that I would say her name
Yeah.
over the
You
air
definitely
anyway.
want to say her
Yeah,
real full
I
name
definitely want
in
to
this
say
thing.
her biblical name out loud for the
Yeah.
masses to know.
Do you know
Uh,
her address? What's her
yeah, yeah.
address?
She still lives on Sycamore Lane. That's a real place, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, we went and saw this movie as a little date movie. And I remember enjoying it. I do remember
How'd it
I was
go? How was the date?
where it went pretty well. But you know me, I was in high school. I was not somebody that you would really want to be tethered to. I cared way more about hanging out with you guys and doing dumb shit with you guys than I really cared to put into a relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do if the date might have went well, but the relationship sure as shit didn't.
Life's just so much easier when you crank up Limp Bizkit and you
Yeah,
just
yeah. When I'm just hanging out with the boys, who needs the gals? But yeah, no, I remember the date as far as the date went. The date was good. Did a little dinner, did a little 51st dates. Can't go wrong with that. And then I told her, yeah, I would totally do the same thing for you if you were in that position. That wouldn't scare somebody away, right?
no, I think it might have.
And that was my experience
Again,
with
there's like a level of depravity here that I think women in real life fully grasp. You know,
no comment on my end. Um, and with that, we'll turn our attention over to the box office.
Numbers, dates, numbers, numbers, dates, hooray. Dates, numbers. Show me the money.
And with that,
all
we'll turn
right.
our attention over to the box. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I was pulling a Lucy for a second. I had memory loss for a minute.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
god. Yikes. So, we talked about this last week with the budgets, right? And if you recall, the budget for Return of the King was, I believe, $94 million.
Sounds about right. It was like right under 100.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some interesting math there because, like, they filmed all those three movies at the same time, whatever, right? Do you want to take a stab at what the budget for 51st Dates is?
If you tell me it's more than Return of the King, like I don't know what Hollywood's doing anymore. Like if you tell me the budget for this movie is over Return of the King, then they were siphoning money. Like there's no way that they
Yeah,
weren't
there's
skimming money off the books.
like Saul Goodman's involved
Yeah.
somewhere in this
Yeah.
transaction. No, so it's not more than Return of the King.
All right, thank God.
But we brought it up on that episode though, how Return of the King's 94 million feels like such good bang for your buck.
Yeah.
The budget for 51st Dates, $75 million.
Like that's absurd. I can only imagine that it's that because of filming in Hawaii and filming with
That's
animals.
filming in Hawaii's got to be a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the biggest part.
Yeah. Like there's like a big part of filming with like a walrus and a penguin. So like that's probably got to add up too, right? Like a walrus has got to cost money to film with for like a whole movie, right? Like
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. You could probably they probably could have like knocked out the walrus scenes in a week, you know, maybe a couple of weeks. To me
yeah,
though, having everybody in Hawaii to film a movie and the crew is all getting like uh the extra pay you get for being like on location, you know what I
location.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's probably got to add up.
I think shooting on location is like really where most of this is coming from.
I could see that, or at least I'm gonna hope that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's also interesting though, because it's like I feel like you could have filmed this movie in like Chicago and I wouldn't have known the difference. You know what I mean? Like it's like the Hawaii angle really wasn't what stuck out to me, I guess. I don't know. So it's gonna open though the week of February 13th through the 15th. Again,
Right.
against that $75 million budget, it's gonna open number one for $39.8 million.
39.8 going to put us in the 27 spot behind the Perfect Storm's 41 and ahead of the Cat in the Hat's 38. Fuck you, Cat in the Hat.
Yeah. Right. That's not bad though. I mean, for a like they put this out Valentine's Day weekend, obviously, because
Yeah.
it's like they're shooting for a date movie, and it seems like it does pretty well.
It's not terrible for an Adam Sandler movie. For
It
almost 40
beats
million.
out, yeah, right, right. It beats out. Although this also isn't probably gonna stay I mean, it's a Valentine's Day movie. Guess what? After this weekend, Valentine's Day's over, guys. So I don't know. Let's see what happens.
People might like the colorful animals and the beautiful locations.
Right. But the only other movie, there's no real notable openings this week. The only other opening in the top 35 is Highwaymen. Don't know what that is.
Or yeah, that sounds like a movie totally.
Right. But it beats out the second week of Barbershop 2 with 14.5 million.
And
The
there's a
second
Valentine's
week
Day
of
movie.
Yeah, right. It beats out the second week of Miracle, which comes in
Oh,
which comes in third with 14 million.
what a movie to put out
Just
for Valentine's Day.
yeah, hopefully nobody will notice what a shameless ripoff of Mighty
All
Ducks
right,
2 it is
all
if we
right.
make it a,
We're
a
not
date movie.
we're not reopening that can.
I'm never closing that can, bro. Um, and that's, I mean, Lord of the Rings is still, just for some context, where it's
Still
still
hanging
down here
around.
in eighth. It's in its ninth week.
Crazy.
Uh, 51st Date's gonna hold the number one spot.
Hell yeah, baby.
48.7% drop, which is pretty substantial. It pulls in 20.4 million.
Okay.
It beats out.
Oh boy.
It
Here.
beats out in second place the Lindsay Lohan vehicle.
No.
Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen.
Oh, I've actually never seen that.
Oh, it's really good. You should watch it.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure.
honestly, I would say that about literally any Lindsay
Anyone's,
Lohan
yeah, no,
in the
you
early
would.
2000s, so take that with a grain of salt. Miracle's still hanging around in here. Beats out the opening weekend of Welcome to Mooseport.
Oh, the movie that ended George fucking Gene Hackman.
Yeah, I suppose. And I mean, Ray Romano was in that too, right?
She was,
Yeah, he doesn't have much of a film career after this anyway.
but he still pops up and stuff.
I mean, yeah, the only other movie I can think of is The Irishman.
Yeah.
Like he
And
did a
then
lot of TV,
he was
but
in that
there was a big gap between Welcome to
yeah,
Mooseport and The Irishman in
it's true.
terms of time.
Listen, Jim, he's making a comeback now, right? He was in the critically lauded $100 million movie Fly Me to the Moon last summer.
Dude, I got my grubby paws on that Apple TV subscription, and
Oh,
Fly
you're
Me to
gonna
the Moon is happening. It's
yeah.
on the list,
I have to
man. I've
you
been
have to
seeing
watch it
the
finally.
thumbnail. And then this week in fifth place, which I know you too well to not guess this movie, Euro Trip.
Ah, yep, that will be our next movie. Is the
Yeah,
Euro Trip.
too
You know, yeah,
easy.
you know me. I
Too
I
easy.
can't miss up. Can't mess a stupid comedy. I need to be there.
Um, dude, okay. So weekend three of
Okay,
51st Dates, it drops out of first place.
so that tracks.
38.5% drop, down to 12.6 million. A movie that I am almost certain we are not going to watch on this show.
Yeah.
Except, I think I need to pick it, if only to make us both extremely uncomfortable.
Oh boy.
Coming
Oh
in first place,
no,
The
what is this
Passion
movie gonna
of the
be?
Christ.
Oh my god.
How do you not pick The Passion of the Christ? I know
Oh
you
my
didn't see it.
god.
And I will say I've never seen this movie, but I
Jim,
feel like I gotta.
you might have to pick it because I also have never seen that movie.
I knew you wouldn't have. Yeah, there's no way. Like, you heard about, like, you would see The Passion of the Christ on, like, Good Morning America, but even my parents were like, yeah, let's go check out The Passion of the Christ, like, 11-year-old child. Let's. What could go wrong?
Oh my god. Yeah, that would
Well,
be
no, wait a
quite
second. Hold on a second.
okay.
When did The Passion of the Christ come out? It did not come out in 2004, did it?
Did it?
I thought it came out so much earlier than
Your
that.
guess is as good as mine.
I guess it did. 2004, yeah. This
Yeah.
is the opening weekend. But yeah, anyway, I am gonna pick that. I am saying it right now. That
He's
is what
lock
I am gonna pick.
he's locking it in. I'm ready. It It tracks considering Trump just appointed Mel Gibson as the special ambassador for Hollywood. So
Is that
I'm
a no? That's not.
I'm
That's not a real
I'm
thing.
all
Come on.
Jim. I swear to God, he just tweeted earlier today. Obviously, by the time this episode drops, it'll be a few weeks that has passed. But he announced that John Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone will now be special ambassadors to get Hollywood back on track in foreign countries, so that like we can boost our international appeal again.
What does that even mean, bro?
It means literally nothing. Like that's what it like. It means nothing. Like what they're gonna send them as envoys to like other countries and be like, hey, remember movies? Like,
But they're special ambassadors to Hollywood specifically, right? That's like
oh,
they're
they're
not
special
like going
ambassadors
to
to
other.
Trump on speaking for Hollywood, but like Hollywood didn't appoint them. Trump did. But also, like
Okay.
Moana just made $1 billion. Like, if people know about movies, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to get into like politics, but let's just say the John Voight and Mel Gibson check off a very specific
Specific
box.
box, yeah.
They like
Yeah.
they fit a thing, right?
Dennis
With all
Quaid
that
is at
said,
home crying right now. He didn't get picked.
re regardless of whatever President Trump is doing,
We're
I think
watching.
we're
We're
gonna have
watching.
to watch The Passion of the Christ. I think
Yeah,
that's
bringing it
what's gonna
around. We're watching Passion of the Christ. I'm ready.
because I've never seen it, and it's so interesting to me because Mel Gibson is like a very good filmmaker, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever else you can say about Mel Gibson, he's a very good filmmaker. So
Yeah.
I have a feeling that that might be a very good film.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll find out in about 9 episodes.
Actually, I take it back. I'm gonna
Oh,
pick the fifth place movie from this week,
oh
Dirty
no.
Dancing Havana Nights.
Oh God.
No, I'm just kidding. Probably Passion of the Christ. But yeah,
Uh,
I'm not gonna say that number, although it is much higher than 51st State's 12.6 million.
that tracks.
And then, I mean, I think we can kind of just ride 51st States out of the top 10, right? It's
Ride
not
him out.
really like,
Yeah, they ain't doing anything of note.
right, it's not gonna be, spoiler alert, it's not gonna be making $1 billion. Um,
Really had it on my bingo card.
yeah, so weekend four, it's down in fourth place with 7.6. Weekend five, it's in sixth place with 5.4. Weekend six, it's in ninth place with 4.2.
And I get
And
one more.
finally, in weekend seven, it drops down to 13th place with 2.4 million.
All right, so it's going to settle in with the other 6 weekers. Movies like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Terminator 3, and SWAT.
Nice. Yeah, pretty pretty interesting that How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and 51st Dates are kind of similar.
Like neck and neck.
And then just some totals. Domestic, it finishes with 121 million. International, it finishes with 77.5 for a worldwide total of 198.4.
Hey, it ended up not doing too bad despite that 75 million budget. 198, good enough to put us in the 37 spot behind SWAT's 207.7 and just ahead of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, 177.5. So like
Yeah,
pretty neck and neck
and I mean,
for romantic comedies right there.
also, yeah, also a movie that specifically because it's a comedy and it's a romantic comedy, it's probably going to do pretty good in DVDs.
Yeah, I could imagine that this movie probably did good enough to justify also having made it, especially back in our land. Man, like, and it makes so much sense now why you'd like very rarely see so many of these genres touch in theaters because like they just don't have that second avenue revenue anymore to fall back off.
Yeah, right. This is a movie you could spend $75 million on in 2004 because you would have that windfall of like, well, some people are really going to like it and think it's hilarious and they're going to buy it, you know?
So like if we did 198 worldwide, like you got to imagine most of those people are going to buy it on DVD also. So that's
Right.
another 200 mil in our pocket.
Right. Compared to now when people are like, if you don't give me thousands of movies and television shows for $5.99 with no ads, I'm
Yeah.
gonna burn this place to
Yeah.
the ground. Like,
Fucking animals.
yeah.
Oh no, how good you had it, bastards.
Yeah.
Critically, movie about right in the middle of the pack. 45 on the critic side. They were not jamming on it, but the audience was a 65. They were a bit higher on it. 6.8 IMDb, but it got the illustrious
Ooh,
A minus cinema score. So,
that I think
ups.
that really is the benchmark, man.
Yeah, A
It's
minus is
becoming
definitely
an
the benchmark.
interesting benchmark for me.
Definitely the spot where you want to be in as far as the cinema score goes. Anything lower than an A minus, like you might as well just not even make the movie.
Yeah.
You failed.
I
Um,
mean, it really feels like if you got the A minus, you probably hit at least a single, you know?
yeah,
That's kind
yeah,
of where this is feeling like it's trending toward for me.
you're getting on base at least. And then we have a couple of user reviews, Jim. And we
I can
got
only
some.
imagine.
Yeah, we got some. This first person writes, "This movie stinks to high heaven. The script is so unfunny that no one over the age of 7 would find it amusing. More
Not
seriously,
necessarily against them so far.
Yeah. More seriously, this movie is ideologically offensive. For a
Oh boy.
start, it's deeply racist. According to
What?
this film, Native Hawaiians are dirty, lazy, stupid, and socially unsophisticated.
What?
Additionally, the movie never misses the chance to make a homophobic wisecrack, even throwing in an androgynous zoo worker to create even more opportunities for seriously cheap jokes. Leaving aside the fact that you will be so bored you'll want to shoot yourself 30 minutes in, I don't believe any responsible parent would want their kid to see this film. It's the kind of objectionable trash only a family wedded to the Ku Klux Klan would enjoy."
Holy fuck, dude. Time really is a flat circle. We've seen that on like one side of things a lot recently, and that was just like but also, I'm just saying, this has been around for a while too.
That was wildly crazy. And I mean, obviously, we'll get into this a little bit later when we dive into the movie. Where like, I won't say this movie isn't racist, but I don't think it depicts Native Hawaiians as dirty, lazy, and stupid.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Not even
like
I mean, that's not what I took away from it anyway.
in fact, I would argue that most of the Native Hawaiians in this movie come off like really like as just like normal people.
They seem really cool, actually. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you would want to like hang out with them. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And like the
Good
one
people to have
racist,
in your corner. That's kind of how I took it.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know what movie this person watched, but wild, absolutely wild. And then so we got our next one over here, and they write, Drew Barrymore is beautiful and irresistible, as usual. I can see Drew wanting to participate in this film so she could get a free trip to Hawaii. As for Sandler, one can only hope he'll get run over by a garbage truck at 8:30 tonight.
Oh my God. That's the whole thing? Is that the end?
The whole review.
Wow. Wow. That's top tier internet right there.
Uh, it's like fucking, it's like Jesus Christ.
I don't think he was that bad in it.
Yeah,
I don't want him to die.
yeah, I don't think this was that horrific that I would wish death upon the person that I saw it in. Even like the worst movie I ever saw, I still wouldn't be like, yeah, I hope that guy gets run over by a truck.
Yeah, that's pretty far. There's a lot of lines being crossed on the way to I hope he gets hit by a truck.
Yeah. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we got our 10 out of 10ers here. And our first one has we all have warm fuzzies about how good both. Oh, wait. Whoops. Oh, no.
Oh,
Cut
oh,
yourself off there, person. Hold
hold
on.
on,
We're
hold
gonna
on.
we're gonna start it over.
Click read more.
We're going to bring it back. Adam Sandler's movies just keep getting better and better. The early ones are good, like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, yet they have lost their appeal. We all have warm fuzzies about how good both those movies are, but odds are if Adam went back to the style of those movies, he would get blasted worse than he is now. More than likely, if you watch Billy Madison now, you wouldn't find it funny. I challenge all of you to watch and see. He's made such major advances that it's astonishing he's been able to put together such a cohesive movie collection. It's good, really good. Just stop hating and start complaining about really bad movies, like anything with Julia Roberts in it. Mona Lisa Smile, people, blast that.
Wait, read the part about Mona Lisa Smile again.
She just writes Mona Lisa Smile. Come on, people, blast that. Like, blast
Oh,
that movie for being bad. And we just
oh,
mentioned
I
Mona
see.
Lisa
Like he's
Smile.
telling
Like,
people to blast that
yeah,
instead.
she's
Okay.
saying you should blast Mona Lisa Smile instead of Adam Sandler's filmography.
Once again, another classic IMDb user review trope is that they're like tearing down something else to bring up the thing they like, you know? They're like, it can't just be like, hey, what's your problem with 51st Dates? They're like, go hate Mona Lisa Smile instead.
Like, so so good. And then we have this last one. And this guy's got a mouthful, but the
Oh
dude,
boy.
boy, howdy, does he have it? He writes, first, let's forget about the facile comparison between this movie and Groundhog Day.
Oh my
Anything
God.
with Bill Murray in it is just annoying, too annoying to be taken seriously. It's nothing like that. And don't for an instant listen to the idiots who are comparing this movie to Memento. I don't know that there was one person who was doing that, but okay.
Yeah, who on earth? You're the only guy who's made these connections, man. I didn't think about either of these movies.
Who are comparing this to Memento. Still the most overrated, vapid, pointless, dull, worthless movie to ever be hyped into the public psyche. But I digress. Drew Barrymore is undoubtedly the most adorable woman in movies today. And what about Sandler? Isn't he a crude, obnoxious, fart joking hooligan? See, you're still thinking about the old Adam Sandler. This is the new Adam. Funny, sensitive, vulnerable, and yes, adorable. The story is fairly simple. Drew has a problem with her short term memory, and Adam loves her, but has to convince her to fall in love with him all over again every day. It is beautiful. One thing this movie is so enjoyable is the amazing soundtrack. I can put the DVD on and simply listen while I surf. What?
Wait, like put
What?
it on and while he's surfing on
Surfing?
the ocean, listen
Yeah.
to the
Like
soundtrack of
what?
51st
Yeah.
States. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
with you.
But what really makes the movie is the way it starts, where you would expect it to, a typical Sandler movie, and then floats beautifully higher and higher into the realm of cinematic gold. It isn't until about midway through the movie that you realize you've got more on your hands than you expected. And by the end of the movie, if you aren't crying, you should ask for a refund on that therapy you've been taking because you haven't learned to express your emotions at all. Maybe
This guy
half a
is my
dozen times
hero.
a year, I find a movie that enters the list of my favorites, and I can pull them off the shelf and love them all over again for years to come. I keep those DVDs on a separate shelf from the rest of my collection. It's called the small shelf, in a different room from the rest of my collection. 51st Dates, welcome to the small shelf.
Okay, so that was like that was the Ben Hur of IMDb user review comments. That was a ride, man. Um,
So much to unpack in that.
I'm pretty sure it's a troll, or at least in the beginning, I was pretty sure it was a troll because it seems like such a troll move to to be like, "Hey, you're reading the reviews of 51st Dates? Well, just in case you were wondering, Memento sucks." Like, you know what I mean? And what was the other one they brought up? Yeah,
Groundhog
Memento
Day.
sucks and Groundhog Day sucks, bro. Like that feels like such a troll move.
He's like, and this is peak cinema.
Yeah,
So
and
much
then
so
he
that if
kind
you aren't
of
crying at the end, you're a failure in therapy.
yeah, amazing. So amazing. He took the objective opinion, like he's transcended the idea of opinion so far that he's like, listen, if you don't agree with me, you're failing at therapy. Like you need to go talk to your therapist about this immediately because you're blowing it, dude.
You gotta
Like
get your life in order, man. What are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah. That's how much I like 51st Dates,
Yeah.
okay?
Pure, pure insanity on that guy's part. But no, I do want to know what you think of 51st Dates, Jim. Where on this spectrum do you lie?
I mean, it was hard for me on this watch to get past how insane the premise is. Like,
Yeah,
like
it is fucking insane. It's absurd.
everywhere I look, there is just moral quandaries. Like I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like if you say, I don't know, your sister or your I mean you don't have a daughter, but like your sister or like your wife or your mom or whoever, right? Or I don't know, anybody you really care about. If their memory resets every day, what do you do? Like
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to put them in a home, right? Like you can't take care of them to any like what the dad and brother were doing is also insane to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would put them in a home before I printed 10,000 copies of the November 23rd, 2003 paper. I would never get to that point.
Yeah.
Like,
Like every move everyone decides to make in this movie about how she should like live her life now is absolutely insane. Like the
yes,
fact that they were just like, we'll let her think it's Sunday for the rest of eternity is
right,
like not only like a horrific thing to do to her, but just an
right.
insane leap of logic to make.
And they're all so committed to it. The
Yeah.
cook is threatening a dude with like huge giant butcher knives. He's like, dude, I swear to God, if you fuck up this convoluted lie we got going, I will murder you. Like, it's so
And it's also like
insane.
it's such a convoluted lie that has so many variables to blow up in their face at all times. Like the
Yeah,
cop giving him a ticket, like literally if she decided to deviate from her routine in any way, like it's a recipe for disaster. Like
yeah.
what if she gets into
But
a car accident on the way there? Like
but here's the really crazy thing. Have you ever seen the show The Good Place?
no, but I've heard of it.
No matter how bad it goes, the only consequence is you just do it again tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's what's so crazy about it to me. Is like, she could have the worst day ever where she figures everything out and she's like, dude, you're a prick. How dare you do this to me? And
Yeah.
tomorrow, you're just feeding her that November 23rd paper and you're just like, well, guess what? None of that matters.
Doing it again. Yeah, and like you're not gonna like live with like that her saying that to you, or like she could be
Right,
like, "This is the
right.
worst thing you've ever done to me," and you're just
Just
like,
literally let it go.
I just gotta get to midnight, man. When she goes to bed, like we're golden.
It's like I could do anything to you on any given day, and you tomorrow you'll wake up and think I'm the greatest. Like
Yeah,
that's
so
so crazy.
it's insane. I can see like in theory where like you're pitching ideas around and you could be like, well, here's like a sweet like idea. It's like somebody who, resets every day. Like, how does somebody go about, kindling love in them and making that love be so deep that they would remember them? So, like, in theory, I understand where you're trying to go to with this movie. I just don't know if the route that it takes is the one that gets us there.
Yeah, and I mean that is you're kind of touching on what's the only saving grace, right? Is that somehow Adam Sandler, as mediocre as he is, breaks through
Makes it
breaks
work.
through the thing and is like memorable. And she's like, I don't know what it is, but like even though I can't remember you, you're so important to me, you know? Like
Drawing you
that's
in
the
my
only saving
dreams.
grace for this is that she actually does care about him somehow, some way, you know?
Yeah, so it's definitely a very murky ground. And yeah, and I feel like even despite all the stuff we're saying, like it does kind of skate it just enough to get by. Like where it's not like you're sitting there and this is so horribly offensive that like I can't even stomach it. Like it manages to stay on the line. Like it's right on the line between being like, I don't know if this should really be a thing.
Oh no,
But
I'm definitely thinking a little bit too hard about it to get to where I'm getting to.
yeah,
But I
but
just like I couldn't escape it when I was watching it this
yeah,
time.
no,
Like I can't think about anything else.
it's something that just sits there in the back of your head. It's just like a phantom. You're like, this is wild. This is wild.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
I
dude,
think it does just enough.
could you imagine being so committed to this thing that you watch The Sixth Sense every
Every day.
day?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Like
for
when she's like,
years.
"Yeah, do you want to watch it after we finish cleaning up?" And they're just like, yeah. Or that he watches the Viking game every day also.
Yeah, right, right. You watch the same football game you've seen literally over 1,000 times. You watch The Sixth Sense for the 1,000th plus day in a row, and then you go and repaint the
Paint the same.
same wall for the 1,000th day in a row.
And you're gonna tell me that's a better move than just like putting her in a home and telling her every day?
Dude, I couldn't make it. Like, salute to him. I would
Dude,
have given up after like a week. I would have been like, dude, there's no way
dude,
I'm doing
not even
this.
by the
No
third
way.
day. By the third day, I had to watch either of those two things again. I'd be like, just tell her, just fucking
Yeah.
tell her, man.
I'd be like, you mean every day she's gonna paint this wall and then I'm gonna paint over it and then she's gonna paint it again? Like, no shot.
Wouldn't
No way.
eventually that wall just like be unpaintable? Like, how many coats of paint can you put on a wall every day before it's just like you can't do it
Dude,
anymore?
I was watching that with Alyssa's mom, and I was like, Do you know how many layers of paint are on that wall? There's like, it's unbelievable. The room's probably like 3 less square feet
I
at
was
this
gonna say like
point.
the
Like, what are
walls,
we
the roof's
doing?
gotta shrink at that point. Like,
Like, it doesn't just disappear ever. It's always there. Eventually, you're gonna run out of room. What's the end game here? Like,
like their modus operandi was just all over the place. They did not. It's like they came up with the first thought that they could, and they're like, we're just gonna stick to that. Like we're not gonna do anything else.
yeah. And they're so committed to it that they're like, if someone tries to talk to you, we're gonna monitor it. We're gonna make sure that they don't fuck up your single day in a series of thousands of days
We're
that are
gonna
the
we're gonna
exact.
shut
It's
them down.
crazy,
That's also a horror movie right there. It's like
dude.
your family just keeping you like hostage like that.
I cannot stress this enough. It's all a horror movie. It's none of it is good. None of it is fun or funny. It was all freaking me out.
Well,
All
I
of it.
will. So to me, the star of this movie, once again, 2 weeks in a row, Samwise Gamgee is absolutely the star of this movie. Him as Doug is so funny. Every single thing he says, between like just being like the shitty bodybuilder, the lisp, everything that comes out of his mouth is so goddamn funny in this movie. When they go to the institute and he's like, I got this friend, right? And he's been taking some steroids and he's been having a lot of wet dreams. And Dan Aykroyd's just like, Doug, buy a shirt without any holes in it. Get off the juice. Like, meet a nice woman. Like,
Yeah. Like,
he's
no,
like,
just get your
I'll
life
tell,
together. Grow
and he
up.
just goes, I'll tell my friend you said that.
Yeah. No, Sean Astin's great in it. I mean, it's another one of those like it's kind of a Michelle Rodriguez-esque role, which we were talking about not too long ago, where it's just like he's got a job to do and he does it. He's not necessarily doing anything spectacular, you know. He's not quite busting out the he's not scraping the bag of tricks as much as he is for Samwise Gamgee, but he's just like he's exactly what he needs to be in this.
Just he's so funny in this. But he's like, "You want me to beat you over the head?" And the dad just like, "Well, what are you gonna do it with your wet dreams?" He's like, "No, Dad, I thought you were gonna do it."
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he kind of saves some of the craziness of it because it's like, all right, this guy really does care about this lady. You know what I mean? Like, he's equally as suspicious of the guy she just met yesterday as I am.
He's so funny. And I guess we could talk about the I guess the two elephants in the room.
Yeah, yeah.
The where we talked before where we don't think the native Hawaiians are really caricatures or racist. I will say there is one racist caricature in this movie, and that is deciding that Rob Schneider should play a native Hawaiian in this movie. Uh, Definitely
Yeah,
a
I mean,
choice. And
that's tough. Yeah.
yeah, definitely a move. I don't know that he'd make that move today. Now, having said that, I'm not going to lie. He did make me laugh a lot throughout this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Something. I am not necessarily a Rob Schneider fan. Let me start
neither
off
am
with
I.
that.
I will be the first hater on the block with you.
And I struggle to think of a Rob Schneider vehicle that I enjoy, right? Like, I mean, okay, I take that back. The sequel to Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo
I
was
knew that's yeah.
enjoyable.
That was where we were going.
That's fair, yeah. But there's just something about like what Rob Schneider does in movies that is perfect to be the guy in Adam Sandler movies who's in it for about 10 minutes and he's just an idiot and that's the end of the story, you know?
Yeah,
Like he's like one of the key ingredients to these movies working in my opinion.
yeah. He definitely does all of that glory in this movie. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, now that you bring up Rob Schneider, I like wasn't even thinking about him, but that comment was maybe onto something because yeah, like Rob Schneider is definitely doing the things they were saying. Like he's like purporting them as kind of like low class and like dumb. Yeah,
Like, and I would be with her comment if every single Hawaiian character in the movie was like that, but it's literally only him. Like we
right.
meet plenty of other ones that aren't like that and are just regular people. So it's
Yeah,
more like I don't think you're trying to make a statement about all Hawaiians as much as it's just like this particular dude is just an idiot. And
the
I
ones
think,
that have the most screen time are pretty stand-up people, in my
yeah,
opinion.
the two at the diner, their version of a diner, are like pretty sweet people. Like I would want to hang
Yeah,
out with them. Like they seem
dude,
like pretty chill people.
and they're different to me than the dad and the brother, because put yourself in the shoes of the people at the diner. If you and there's a specific person I'm thinking of at a place that we both used to work, who used to come in all the time, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
But at some point, you're just on a ride, and you just gotta be like, "All right, I guess I'm on this ride." Like
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
like
No, I know exactly who you're talking about.
I
And yep,
guess
you're
this
just
is just what's happening.
yeah, you're just
Like,
kind of like, I don't get paid enough to really fight against this, so I'm just gonna roll with it.
yeah, and on some level, it's not really any of my business. So, like, you know what? These people could probably use a hand. Maybe I'll do my best here.
Right?
Like,
Like you want me to tell her the sky is green when she comes in? Sure, I got you. Like
right,
what
exactly.
like,
Whatever
sure.
makes both of our lives easier, because I do not want to deal with this.
Because
Like,
I don't want to do any of that.
yeah,
But I think the worst one than the caricature of the native Hawaiian is the androgynous trans worker
pretty
that
tough.
Adam Sandler works with. That's
Pretty tough.
really just there for them to make trans jokes.
Yeah, I mean, right. And this is back in a time when people were like, that's funny. Like, we're
Yeah,
making fun of that for sure.
yeah, and it was insane to see it in this one because there's no other purpose for her being like that other than for Adam Sandler to make that joke where he's like, "I'm not into dudes."
Yep. Yeah, yeah,
Like
100%.
it was like, oh boy, like why?
100%. And like when you really think about it, not really much that's funny about it.
Yeah, like and yeah, like there's not even it's not even like a good trans joke. You're just like, what is like why is this here? Like you didn't
Yeah.
even like do or attempt anything here. Like this is lazy.
Yeah. I just mean though, like in 2025, whenever I think about the word trans, whatever thing I'm thinking about or whatever conclusion I come to, it's not funny. You know what I mean? Like, it's like very loaded these days. So watching those jokes now, it's just kind of like, all right, but it's not funny anymore, guys. Like, it's really like anytime this comes up, it's a real drag. Like,
It's a real loaded gun right now, and I don't want it in the room.
right, exactly. Yeah. So it's just like, I think it's like, even if you're not going to be like, oh, how unwoke are those jokes? It's like, no, like no matter what, I'm just tired of hearing about it. You know, like I don't, it's not a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like let's just leave that on the cutting room floor, guys. Like
Right.
we don't need it in the conversation.
Yeah. But back then,
And and
people were
in
laughing at
yeah,
it.
dude, in the 2000s, yeah, it was all over the place. Big fans of those. They loved them. Absolutely absurd. So yeah, that's a long line of absurd things within this movie. But somehow, like inexplicably, the movie like kind of works at times for me. Like
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't
definitely
brutal.
does.
Yeah, it wasn't brutal for me to get through. Like it has some charm to it, despite like all of these like insane things that we've been talking about. Like it's funny how the movie kind of like wins you over by the end, despite all of these like crazy things that like should not work together in a movie whatsoever.
Yeah, it has some heart. It definitely has some heart. The part though that the part that doesn't like I don't disagree that it has some heart, but the thing is for as insane as the premise is, and for as much of a ridiculous amount of control that Adam Sandler has over Drew Barrymore's life at the end of it, like I feel like he needs to do a lot more to go from the guy who's kind of, you know, betting a new tourist every night to the guy
Yeah.
who's like, by the way, I have a girl who has no long-term memory on my boat. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Like
it's
like
like
we'd like to see a little bit more of that like mature change in him.
Right. I don't necessarily know what it is, but I
Not
do know that he needs to do something to
some
get
more.
me
Yeah,
from point A to point B because watching it this time I did not get there.
yeah. There needs to be like one or two more extra scenes of him like adapting to change and actually like showing growth
Yeah.
because it's not too long over the movie that we see him in the beginning betting all these girls and then also just being a douchebag to the androgynous chick also because
Yeah.
he makes the walrus like vomit like all over her. It's like, dude, you're a
Right.
douchebag. Like,
Right. And then just
and and I'm with him
picture
being a
every
douche.
guy who would do those things, like all the chuds who would enjoy those things and laugh at those things, getting access to somebody who cannot retain long-term memories and
Memories. Yeah,
resets every day. It'd be a nightmare.
yeah.
Like,
It's
I do not trust a one
yeah,
of them.
yeah, it's icky. And I'm not against like him being like that in the beginning because obviously in a movie we want to see the character change and grow. I
Yeah,
just don't know if they did enough of seeing him change
yeah.
to
They
earn
gotta
that at the end. Like I'm
they
happy
gotta
for her.
get me there.
Yeah, because like I'm happy for her at the end that she's able to, find love and have a life despite this thing that happened to her. But on his end, I need to see more of him earning the right to be that love.
Yeah, you're giving him so much trust. I need to trust him.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like
And I don't
I
know if I
need
quite get there by the end of it.
Yeah. But
But
again, we're also like, it's a
we're
silly
heavily,
comedy
yeah,
movie. Like,
yeah,
it's they
yeah,
probably didn't think about it nearly as much
yeah.
as we
We're
just thought
we're
about it.
doing a heavy catharsis deep dive into what's pretty much just like a silly rom-com about a dude who has like a penguin sidekick
Yeah.
kind of like falling in love. Like
But it's also a thing we've talked about with rom-coms, man, where they're all like on that line where it's like every one of them does something insane
saying,
in the
yeah,
movie at some point. Where
yeah,
if you looked at it in reality, you'd be like, dude, don't talk to that guy. Like,
yeah.
no way.
It is most rom-coms like in a real world setting you would be like run for the hills, but it's a
Yeah.
rom-com. It exists in a world that's kind of like really like not, it's just very weird, and this stuff it not only happens but is cool. It's okay.
Right.
It's all in the name of love.
And the premise of this movie cranks that up to like 11.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're like,
Like
what if
that's
we
just
took
how I feel about it.
the craziest thing ever and we made a rom-com out of it? And they're like, yeah, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Like
nuts.
every insane ending of a rom-com you've ever seen where the guy does something where you're like, actually they should probably call the police. Like maybe. Like it's like, well, what if we did that? But also it's incredibly uncomfortable at the end.
Like you're just sitting there like on pins and needles. Like I feel weird.
Like we're gonna remove any chance that this poor woman has of ever having any independence ever again.
Yeah. It's yeah. You honestly could. I see a world where we could remake this and it was just a horror movie.
It, all of it's a horror movie. I'll repeat that till the day I
All of
die,
it's a
and I
horror movie.
kind of want to see it.
Yeah, and you just make it about like a woman like just trying to claw herself to freedom and gain independence.
Yeah, there's.
Like
I think it would be hard to do because I feel like the only way to do it is to have you, the audience, be like you'd have to live through. It's kind of like Groundhog Day, where you'd have to live through like multiple versions of
versions of
this
it
day
first.
happening.
Yeah.
But instead of the character remembering everything and nobody else remembering everything, the
The
audience
audience
and the
is.
villain remember everything, but the person doesn't. Like, there's a way to do it, but it feels like it'd be tricky. Like, you'd have to like do some like jujitsu to get to the real juice of it, I think.
It'd be tough, but it could be done. We could get there. We'll pitch it around Hollywood. People will get back to you, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah,
Gift you
we
first.
definitely will. We have a track record of making movies happen, definitely.
We do. We absolutely do. Our studio is heavy in production on all of these crazy sequels and remakes that we've been talking about. So you'll get them. You'll get them. Yeah. Anything else you really feel needs to be mentioned about this bad boy?
Nah, I mean, we can do some deep dive.
I'm ready for some deep dive. Was this did this get any awards love? You're
I
telling me
guess
people
so.
weren't digging on this at the MTV Movie Awards? I know they were.
I mean, the
Best
one thing I've learned is
best
that no
penguin in a
matter what
movie?
movie you're looking at, you're gonna get some awards love somewhere, right?
It's true. It's true.
I think,
There's at least something out there that will be in
I
for.
hesitate to say this, but I think some awards might be able to be bought, is what I'm learning.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gee,
Like
gee.
if
There's no
you
way that
saw a
could
movie in
happen.
theaters as a just like generic 14 or 15-year-old boy in America, there's a good chance that the movie you saw was nominated for some award somewhere. And it's interesting. I don't know. But we're gonna start with what is an awards show that we don't see very often, but I think might be the only one with any credibility left.
Okay.
We're gonna start with the Kids' Choice Awards
Oh, there we go.
because kids say the darndest things, right?
That they do.
They they really get it.
We're probably big on the penguin. Best penguin in a movie goes to Colin Farrell. What?
I can promise you there is no best penguin in a movie. There's
Best
also no best
racist
Drew
caricature
Barrymore in a
done by
movie.
Rob Schneider in a movie?
Um, Adam Sandler is going to be the winner of the Kids' Choice for favorite movie actor.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks.
He beats out some all-time great performances. Jim Carrey from A Series of Unfortunate Events,
Okay.
Tim Allen from Christmas with the Cranks,
Oh boy.
what a classic, and
Right.
Tobey Maguire from It's Insane that Adam Sandler wins any award over Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 2 for Best Actor.
What?
Nuts, right?
Amazing. Like, unreal.
Unreal. It's also going to be nominated for the Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Movie Actress.
Okay. That
Um,
tracks.
Drew Barrymore does not win.
What?
She doesn't win.
She doesn't win? What
She
other
doesn't win.
actress is in this movie?
Let's go through the nominees first.
Is it Rob Schneider and his when he's dressed up as Lucy?
No, no, it's not that. Lindsay Lohan is nominated for Mean Girls.
Okay.
What at best I can call a questionable decision. Halle Berry is nominated for Catwoman,
Ooh. Yeah.
which, just saying, I think some awards might be for sale. um,
Who'd have thunk?
Drew Barrymore's nominated, and then the winner of Favorite Movie Actress. This is another one where she's nominated for two different movies. Hilary Duff for A Cinderella Story and Raise Your Voice.
Okay, okay. That's a good win right there. I'm always on the Hillary Duff bandwagon.
Yeah, so those are the Kids' Choice Awards. We're going to come next to one that we come to very often, and what I think, at least on this show, has reached a position where it is much more important than the Academy Awards. The MTV Movie and Television Awards.
Yep, that's the cream of the crop right there.
MTV Movie Awards. 51st Dates. I am going to give you one guess as to what the best category that 51st Dates is nominated for. It's like, it's a legitimate name for a category, but it's insane that 51st Dates is even in consideration.
Really? Then I is it in just like best film?
Best movie. Best movie. Let's just
Really?
read through the rest of this category for the MTV Movie Awards. X2 X-Men United is nominated for Best Movie. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
My God.
51st Dates, as we've discussed. And then two of these things are not quite like the other. Finding Nemo and The Lord of the Rings Return of the King.
Dude. What a collection of
Yeah.
movies right there.
The MTV Movies Awards, like, listen, we're gonna have good movies in Best Movie, but not all of them. Like, let's take a deep breath here.
Like,
We
listen,
got
we know
bills to pay.
they're like, listen, we know these other movies can't reach the standard that 51st Dates set, but we got to include them.
All right, yeah. 51st Dates picks up a win here though in
Oh
Best
God.
On-Screen Team.
Okay. All right, that's fair. I like Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore together.
Yeah, they're obviously the winners, right? They beat out the likes of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys 2, Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom in Pirates, School of Rock, Jack Black, and just an assortment of what I'm guessing are the kids in the movie School of Rock, which I guess on-screen team, yeah, team can have more than two people. All right, checkmate. And Starsky and Hutch, it beats out for Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson.
Nice. All right, that's a fair win right there.
And then did we talk about Drew Barrymore for best female performance?
The MTV Awards? No.
Okay. Um, let's go find that. Drew Barrymore. I feel like we've talked about this movie 100 times, and I don't understand how, because we just got
Still
it in
there.
the year of 2004. Best female performance, just another absolute masterclass in just what the fuck are these movies doing in the same category. Charlize Theron for Monster.
Already off to a crazy high that we need to keep.
It's gonna get so much crazier. Halle Berry for Gothica.
We've taken a turn.
Drew Barrymore for 50 First Dates.
We've taken another turn.
There's plenty of turns left, my friend. Queen Latifah for Bringing
Bringing
Down
down
the
the
House.
All right, that's two comedies in a row. We're still in the same lane here.
Yeah, dude, Queen Latifah. I mean, I guess so. Her and Drew Barrymore are closer than Halle Berry and Charlize Theron.
Absolutely, for sure.
Eventual winner Uma Thurman for Kill Bill Volume 1.
We've taken another turn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, insane. And then Adam Sandler also gets nominated for Best Male Performance. Which, what a weird way to call these categories.
All right. He had the best
I
male
guess they just don't
performance.
want
I'd
to
be
do
like,
like supporting versus
yeah.
lead, I guess.
I'd be like, I don't want to know about his performance. Jesus.
Seriously. I'm already too concerned with my own. I can't start comparing myself to other people. It's like it's way
Can't
too much.
can't keep all these performances intact.
Best okay. Johnny Depp wins Best Male Performance for Pirates of the Caribbean. That makes sense for me for the MTV Movie Awards.
That
I'm with
tracks.
it. Some interesting people that I was not expecting at the MTV Movie Awards. Adam Sandler obviously nominated. Tom Cruise for The Last Samurai.
All right, that's a turn.
Bill Murray for Lost in Translation. Somebody we talked a little bit
Dude,
about last week. We really got to go back and watch
you
this movie.
will never convince me that anyone at the MTV Movie Awards watched that movie.
I'm with you, man. I'm just saying. I don't know. And then I'm hopping on the hype train. I think you're about to get very excited.
Okay.
The last nominee for Best Male Performance, Jim Caviezel in The Passion of the Christ.
Oh my God. Just a running through line of getting us prepared for this movie.
Dude, I cannot wait to watch this movie. The fact that The Passion of the Christ got nominated for an MTV Movie Award is nuts. Like,
Jesus Christ is just sitting up in heaven right now, kicking back. He's like, yeah, that's right. The people love me still.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So bananas.
It's absurd.
And I said Johnny Depp won, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We're gonna get into our next, like, just real important awards ceremony here. The Teen Choice Awards.
Of course. You can't forget. We got the kids, we got the MTV. You can't forget about the teens.
Yeah.
Though
And
you
I
would
mean,
think
like,
the teens and the MTV would just be the same.
I mean, basically. I'm sure they're just like two, like, they're competing, I think is the way to put it.
Okay.
It's nominated for Choice Movie Comedy, which it's up against a lot of things, which is another check in the I think these might be for sale box.
We've nominated 13 movies.
There's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Already too many.
7, 8 choice teen movie comedies.
It's way too. Would you just nominate every comedy that came out?
I mean, basically, a lot of the ones we've talked about. School of Rock is nominated. Mean Girls, which is one we'll be doing shortly, I think. Freaky Friday, the Lindsay Lohan vehicle.
Jesus.
Will Ferrell's Elf, which is one we've talked about. The absolute abomination that is American Wedding. 13 going on 30. 50 First Dates is nominated. And then the eventual winner, Shrek 2.
Like what?
Which, dude,
All over the place.
Teen Choice Awards is a wild card, bro. Shrek is a teen movie, and also 13 Going on 30 is a teen movie. It's true.
Like what the fuck? God, what what an award season for 51st Dates.
I know. It's like it's really paying the bills. Let me just find. It's also nominated for Choice Movie Date Movie.
Good track.
Oh my God, which is hard to control F because 51st Dates is also in the title, and then Win a Date with Ted Hamilton is in the mix somewhere here.
Oh, there's a movie.
So, Choice Date Movie, 13 Going on 30, Along Came Polly, the Mandy Moore Vehicle, second time on the podcast, Chasing Liberty, the Jessica Alba Vehicle, Honey,
My God.
Love Don't Cost a Thing, Win a Date with Ted Hamilton, You Got Served, and the
Dude,
eventual winner, 51st Dates.
I don't know if I'd consider You Got Served a date movie.
I guess it depends on if you're into dancing or not. I'm not sure.
I am into not into dancing, but I am into getting served at a restaurant.
Yeah. Adam Sandler wins for Choice Movie Actor in a Comedy.
Yeah, that tracks.
Drew Barrymore is nominated for Choice Movie Actress.
The fucking kids and teens were really in on 51st Dates.
Yeah,
They were
absolutely.
they
And
were
then,
not swayed by the questionable subject matter.
absolutely not. Back in 2004, nobody thought about these things.
They were
Nowadays,
full
it's like,
in.
oh man, I should really consider empathy. It's nominated for what is another like classic Teen Choice Award, the Choice Movie Lip Lock,
Oh, there we go. Beautiful.
which I think we've already talked about. It loses to Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom, and then it is also nominated for kind of similar to Best On-Screen Couple, Teen Choice Movie Chemistry, which it also loses to Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom.
Nice. Yeah, that's right. You got nothing on pirates.
And that's it. The only other highlight from
That's
this is there's only one male-male combo nominated in Choice Movie Chemistry. Another movie we'll talk about one of these days, Starsky and Hutch.
nice. They did have great chemistry.
And then I think that's really it for awards. I don't know that anybody is worth bringing up, like acting-wise in this movie. I
I
suppose we
mean,
could see who the director is.
main people we'll all dive into again. We'll see them down the road. Yeah, maybe you
Yeah,
see what Peter Siegel. What did he do? Anything else?
yeah. I mean, I figure if we're gonna do Rob Schneider, we'll do it when we do the
Oh
hot
my
chick,
God.
right?
Yeah. Or no, Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo.
The Animal? What about The Animal?
Nope.
We
Did not
definitely
see
saw
that. Did
The
not see
Animal
that in
movie.
theaters. Thank God.
Starring that lady from Survivor whose name I don't remember.
Sure. Whatever you say.
So Peter Siegel, the director.
All
Let
right.
me just filter out to his directing credits.
Let's see what he's got.
Interesting. This is a tough one coming out of the gate. One that I don't think either of us expected. There's
Okay.
like a bunch of nonsense here. And then in 1994, he directs Naked Gun 33 and a third, The Final Insult.
That's not a bad debut.
I don't know that I've ever seen that movie,
Oh, you never
honestly.
saw the third one? It's
I think
really
I've only seen the first two, and I usually
it's
only
dumb.
watch the first one.
Yeah, it's dumb, but you still there's still some chuckles in there.
Fair. Okay, I'll have to watch that one. 1995, he follows up Naked Gun 33 and a third with a movie that I don't know that this or that is particularly close. Do you take 51st Dates or 1995's Tommy Boy?
Easy, Tommy boy.
Easy Tommy Boy, yeah.
Easy, Tommy boy.
Crazy that he directed that movie. That's
Wow.
such a
Yeah,
fun
that's great.
movie.
I would not have ever thought that. Good on you, Pete.
Seriously. Tommy Boy is one I haven't seen in a while, but they really let Chris Farley loose in that one.
Yeah.
Then he follows up Tommy Boy. This might be one of the better three movie runs we've seen. He follows up Tommy Boy with 1996's My Fellow Americans.
I've never seen that.
That's Jack Lemmon, right? And Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, I've heard of the movie. I just never got a chance to see it.
Anything with Jack Lemmon, I'm in, dude. Like 100%.
Yeah,
Do
he
you
is
remember
good.
that Jack Lemmon movie we watched where he was a writer who wrote about how to kill his wife?
Oh yeah, yeah, that movie was so
And
good.
then and then his wife died and they were like, dude, I don't know, I think you did it.
Yeah, yeah, that movie was
Such
so
a good
good.
movie.
Classic.
And then Peter Siegel's gonna take a little break here. He's gonna direct in the 2000s Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps.
Oof, not great.
Not great at all, sir. Um, and I feel like we're gonna start to get into a trend here. And this is kind of a mix with Adam Sandler, which I think is interesting. 2003, he directs Anger Management. We've
It's a movie.
passed 2003. This
It's a
might
movie.
be the time to talk about Anger Management. Do you have any feelings about that movie? Any thoughts? Any memories?
It's a movie.
It is a movie.
It is a
It
movie.
was nominated for Teen Choice Hissy Fit, so I mean, it's got something going for it.
That's true. Yeah, no, I was never particularly gung ho for that movie.
Yeah, not my favorite. 2004, he does 51st Dates. 2005, he does what he can only be forgiven for having directed Tommy Boy. An absolute atrocity
Atrocity.
to
Atrocity.
American cinema. 2005's The Longest Yard.
Oh, dear Lord. He is, he is on a hard decline.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he made Naked Gun 33 and a third. He made Tommy Boy. He made a couple of like mediocre movies, and then he was like, "I'm gonna remake one of the best sports movies ever, and it's not gonna be very
And
good."
it's gonna be, and I'm gonna litter it with WWE wrestlers.
Right?
It's like, you know what the longest yard really needed? The Great Khali.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna ask you actually, are you taking The Longest Yard or 51st Dates?
51st dates.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty easy.
It's definitely easy.
Um, do you take The Longest Yard or 2008's Get Smart?
Smart.
I don't know. Yeah,
That movie's
okay.
actually pretty funny.
Get Smart, you win. Um, and then he makes a movie in 2010, Insecurity. I don't know what that is, but it's not like one word. It's like in space security. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Never heard of that.
2013's Grudge Match.
God. The
Do you know what
boxing.
that is?
Yeah,
What's Grudge Match?
the boxing movie with Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're two aging boxers that step into the ring for one last bout together.
Oh my God. And that came out in what year did I say?
2013. It was like Christmas 2013 too, because I remember it. I remember it being at the theater.
Oh my God. I need to see that. That sounds
No,
awful.
no, you don't. I mean, you do, but you don't.
2016, he directs one episode of Angie Tribeca. 2014 through 2016, he directs three episodes of Shameless, which is a pretty good show. 2018, are you taking 51st Dates or 2018's Jennifer Lopez Vehicle second act?
Dude, I'm taking
The
second act.
movie, the movie that I famously had to refund many people's movie tickets for because I programmed the movie in Spanish.
I would absolutely take second act.
I don't think I've ever seen second act.
It's it's not bad. It's pretty enjoyable.
Interesting. Okay. Um, what's My Spy? Is that the Batista movie?
Yes, it is.
Have you seen it? I never saw it. Was it any good?
I saw. Yes, yeah, I saw it. It was no, it was not. This is good.
Um,
I love
in
my boy Dave, but
yeah,
it's not good.
I don't get the Batista love, man. I feel like people really like are on their knees for Batista, and I don't think he's
Mhm.
necessarily bad, but like people are really like
Because
really glazing him.
he works with true auteur directors.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. Um, and then the last thing, or maybe two more things. 2022, he directs a Sebastian Maniscalco, which I'm guessing is a stand-up special. Is it me?
Okay.
Yeah, right. Who cares?
Good for him.
Uh, 2024, is this potentially a sequel to My Spy? 2024, My Spy: The Eternal City.
Boy. Yeah, that is a sequel.
I'll tell you what, Dave Bautista came back anyway.
I did not see that one. Anna Faris joins the cast. Oh, Anna.
Might be
You,
worth checking out,
you poor
potentially.
thing. You poor thing, Anna.
Yeah. And I think that's really all I got for IMDb Deep Dive.
It's quite I mean, honestly, he did more things than I was expecting. So good for
Hey, Tommy Boy's enough,
yeah,
man.
Tommy Boy
That's
right
one
there
of the
cements
funniest
it.
movies ever.
Yeah, cements him. We have deemed him the on top off of Tommy Boy alone. So good for you, Pete. And I think with that, we could turn it over to our star ratings.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? Should I play the Ebert drop?
Ooh, I don't know, Jim. I always leave that in your capable hands to have a firm grasp on the needle of if we need it or not.
I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, he's not going to do it.
I
Wow,
refuse.
Jim. You chose Oli.
Why? Okay, let's see what you
But
do then. Let's see how poorly you really think I chose.
what do you think Roger Ebert gave this?
I am gonna say Roger Ebert gave it a 3 out of 4.
Oh, Jim, you got it. Hit the nail on the head. Raj would have liked the drop. 3 out of 4 from Raj. He calls it the movie is a sort of an experiment for Sandler. He reveals the warm side of his personality and leaves behind the hostility, anger, and gross out humor.
Yeah, I mean, Raj is looking at it with a very 2003 context, and I'm looking at it with a very 2025
2024
context.
lens. Yeah, 2025.
Yeah.
Forget we're in a new year. A new
So I
year.
get where he's coming from. He's like, I went to see an Adam Sandler movie and I didn't totally hate its guts because it wasn't for like 19-year-old boys.
Yeah. Which fair, Raj. So now I'll turn it to you, Jim. What do you give the final rating for 51st Dates?
I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Right.
Yeah.
2 out of 5 from the Jimbo. I'm gonna go just above you. I'm gonna give it a threer. I think it's a solid movie. It's enjoyable despite its touchy subject matter. It manages to stay just on the line where it kept me laughing. And Sean Astin's performance alone just seals the deal for that for me. So I'm going with a threer, and that's gonna give us an overall score of 5 out of 10. So now we do battle with some fivers here. Jim, do you take 51st Dates or do you take Scary Movie?
That's tough, man. They're two like comedies, but they're very different comedies.
They are.
I think I'm gonna take 51st Dates.
I'm definitely taking 51st Dates on
Okay.
that one. This one. Do you take 51st Dates or do you take X2 X-Men United?
X2 X-Men United.
Yeah, me too. That's a particularly easy one right there.
Because a
So
lot of the time, what I use for the tiebreaker in this is like, if you were asking me, we're gonna watch a movie right now, and it has to be one of these two, like, which one am I gonna pick? And
yeah,
X2 easily, I would watch a lot, and 51st Dates not so much.
I'm with you on that. I feel that. So 51st Date's going to sidle into the number 43 spot, just behind X2 and ahead of Scary Movie. And that's a solid little spot for it right there. I think that's a-okay. Now we're not taking guesses for next week because you already guessed Euro Trip. We're continuing the comedy. Well,
Too easy.
we're leaving the rom-com behind, but we're turning into just straight comedy. And this one's going to be an interesting one to dive into because I remember loving this movie so much when we were in high school. We would watch this all the time. We would quote this all the time. And I can't tell you the last time I watched it. So it's going to be interesting if this is going to join a legion of other movies that we've returned to that doesn't quite hit the stuff anymore.
I
Uh,
have a funny feeling.
yeah. So make sure you join us next week when we answer that age old question. Jim, do you have a recommendation for the people? What are you jamming on?
So I do watch movies kind of piecemeal these days, so I
Okay.
haven't finished this yet. But
Well,
there's a movie that I
Jim, if there's one thing we learned is that you are famous now for not finishing movies or not even
right.
knowing if you finished movies.
Right. There's a movie I know I haven't finished though yet because the first half of it was so incredibly interesting to me.
Okay.
the movie Freeway, which I know I texted you about when I was watching it.
Yes, yes, you did text me about this movie.
Did you
Um,
have a chance to watch it?
no, no, I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but it is on the list for me to hunt down. Because
Yeah.
your description of it was immaculate. I was 100% in.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through and I'm definitely gonna go back and finish it. It's on Tubi, I think.
Good old
Um,
Tubi.
but it is incredible. It's like Reese Witherspoon playing a part that you wouldn't necessarily expect her to play based upon where her career is at now.
Yeah,
Kiefer Sutherland playing the serial killer part very well.
you had me at Kiefer Sutherland. Like I'm in. I'm
Yeah,
in. Like
it's
I'm
amazing.
I'm,
It's
I'm in.
amazing. What about you? Anything?
So I don't know if this one is so much a recommendation as much as it is just the last thing that I watched.
Okay.
And it's a highlight. So, little context to behind watching it though is I just recently, for the first time, got my hands on a PS5. So I've been
Ooh,
diving into a lot of the PS5 games that I've missed out on, like classics that people say I should have always played. And the biggest one that I went through, I actually just finished the franchise,
I know where this is
is
going.
the Uncharted franchise.
Yeah, tell
Yeah.
me you watched the Tom Holland, Mark
So
Wahlberg Uncharted movie.
yes. So I returned to the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg to see if maybe we can get a little recontextualization on it. I did not enjoy it so much the first time I saw it. And now watching it after playing the games, I have found a whole new appreciation of hatred for it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, there's no way you like it more, right?
No,
It's
no, no. I like it so much less for so many new reasons.
yeah. That's the movie where I was like, these studios might be onto something with this background noise thing, this second screen nonsense, because I would turn that movie on 100 times out of 100 if I was doing something else, you know.
Just on in the
But it's
background.
not a good movie.
Yeah, it is. It is so bad. And to now have so much more understanding of why I hate it, having now played all of the games and how amazing the games are, I
Yeah.
found I found a whole new appreciation for the hatred. So if you people are out there and you also hate this movie for what they did to Nathan Drake, I now join your legion.
I still think it's worth the watch though. It's a lot of fun, I thought.
It's still
For
worth
like
a
all the
it's
wrong reasons, but
yeah, it's watchable. Not particularly. It has moments that shine, and it's just a shame that it's saddled with so much crap around it. Is
yeah,
what I'll
that's
say,
fair.
what I'll say to that movie. But now we turn it over to you people. Let us know down below what you thought of 51st Dates. Make sure you join us here next week when we dive into Euro Trip. And as always, we'll see you at the movies.